Do Arsenal actually need a striker as badly as what some other fans are actually calling for? Now, from the first half of the season, the answer would have been categorically yes. Failing to convert chances match after match after match. While they won a lot of those games, there were games where they didn't win. Aston Villa comes as the obvious example. Failing to score at all, losing that game, and the amount of chances it was a joke. Now, the claims were, if Arsenal had a goal scorer up front, a clinical goal scorer, they win that game. And not just that game, they would have won other games too. But since the turn of the new year, there's not so much talk around the striker position. Obviously, Kai Havertz has come in and he's been really good for the past few games. But is it sustainable? Will it just be a few games where he plays well and then the form sort of dips and everyone's calling for a striker again? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Trossard as well has filled in. There's Jesus there too. But just 10 more games remain in the Prem. And obviously, they're now deep into the Champions League. And there's going to be some games which require a man to step up and score a goal out of nothing. Now, obviously, Havertz was the man to do that in Arsenal's game against Brentford. He came up with the winner. That was sort of his moment, really. I know, obviously, he's scored goals for Arsenal in the past, and he's having a decent season, really, considering he was labelled a flop, and there's a lot of criticism on his name. But we've been here before where a player does well for a few games, and a lot of fans start suggesting that maybe the thing that they're calling for may not be as important as what they thought. And that's the tightrope many Arsenal fans are going to be walking. I think it's obvious that Arsenal will attempt to sign a striker in the summer. If we have a look at any of the reports, it's pretty obvious that the main candidates are Victor Osimhen, Victor Gyökeres, and a couple others sort of on the outskirts. Ivan Toney looks like he's off the radar because his personality isn't something that the Arsenal board favour. And so it seems pretty obvious that a striker will be at the forefront of Arteta's mind this summer. But it's not going to come at a cheap price. There's a small pool of strikers that are going to come in and make an immediate effect. And is it going to be worth spending upwards of 70 million on a new number 9 when you can go and spend that money elsewhere? I think a lot of Arsenal fans would say, yeah, you need to go big for this position. But is there any name out there that really stands out and guarantees you 20 plus goals a season? I mean, that's sort of what you're asking for, because we're asking for someone to come in and be an upgrade on Jesus, Havertz, Trossard. When you look at Gyökeres over in Portugal, the goals and the numbers he's providing are insane, considering he was in the Championship last season. And he left Coventry City for as little as 20 mil, I think. And now he could be worth around 70 odd mil, which is pretty crazy. It makes you wonder why no Premier League club stepped in and tried to make an attempt for him in the summer. But how much better does this striker come in and make Arsenal? This Arteta system has been amazing. You've got to look at where he's taken Arsenal to where it is now. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans are going to trust Arteta with whoever he brings in, if he even brings in a striker. The player who comes in has to be an upgrade, because Arsenal are already in touching distance of success, right? But whoever's coming in has to take them over the line in a similar way that Haaland did with Manchester City. Now, you can't be demanding someone of Haaland's calibre to come in, because it's going to be near on impossible to do that. But whoever comes in has to be that game changer for them tough games. The games in which Arsenal dropped points in the first half of the season. While Arsenal are on a really good run of form right now, 8 wins from 8 games in 2024 in the Premier League, a lot of goals have been scored as well. And they're coming from wide positions, midfield, and between the likes of Havertz and Trossard, who like to share that false 9 position. If I'm being totally honest, I don't feel set on a striker right now to come in and do what Arsenal fans are wanting. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are, not even just Arsenal fans, I think people from the media and rival fans as well are looking at Arsenal like, yeah, they just need that one finishing piece of the jigsaw, which is the number 9, to come in and bang in loads of goals. But I don't know if there's anyone out there who's saying, yeah, I'm that guy. It's not like where Declan Rice joined the club last summer. Everyone knew he was coming in and he was going to be the difference maker for that midfield. And he has. So it makes you wonder, really, could them goals come from maybe a wide forward, like a winger, someone like a Rafael Leao, who I don't think Arsenal are going to get. I haven't seen any links to him anyway. But it was only January 2023 when Arteta was willing to spend around 80 million on Mudryk when Martinelli was already in the first team. And he was playing really well last season. Remember, he was Arsenal's joint top goal scorer with 15 goals. And Arteta still wanted a new left winger. We know he loves Bukayo Saka, and Saka's numbers speak for themselves. You don't have to worry about Saka not chipping in with goals and assists. But Martinelli's having a bit of an off-season. He's only really been at the top table, really, in the Premier League. This is his second season, really, since he's broke through. Last season was his main breakthrough season. And it's not been so great for him in terms of goal scoring. So it makes you wonder if you could bring in a wide forward who can come in and chip in with, I don't know, 10, 15 goals. Would that be enough to get over the line? Maybe, maybe not. I think the big excuse or the big counter argument from most Arsenal fans would be, yeah, but we love Martinelli for starters, and second of all, we just want a bagsman up top who's going to bring the team something a little different. But is Havertz not that? We spent years calling for a Giroud-type striker, someone that's not going to fumble big chances, of course. And I know Havertz does miss a lot of chances, but he does bring something a little bit different, and he's already in the team. He can drop deep, his work rate, his physicality, 6'4", he scores with his head. He's got the technical ability, and he's starting to learn the Arteta system. It does sound underwhelming. I think if Arsenal missed out on a striker and Havertz became the main man, I think a lot of fans would be disappointed by that. But we're in the final part of the season, so opinions will be determined over these last however many games, because if Havertz steps up and he continues his form, then I think Arteta and the fans will look at it and say, okay, put that money elsewhere, pull it into another position. If he doesn't, however, and he fumbles chances and he doesn't score the goals that are needed to get over the line, and Arsenal end up the season empty-handed, I think that would be the decision maker with this summer. I think that's what would make Arsenal go and spend however much is needed on a new number 9. For me personally, this could end up biting me in the arse by the end of the season. I've been very impressed by Havertz since he stepped in. And I'm trying to not do that thing where you react too quickly and you end up forgetting about what you actually need. But I have been impressed by him. I like the height in the striker. I like the ability to drop deep, link up play. He puts himself about as well, and he's a proper shithouse, and that's what we love. And it just makes you wonder, do you want to spend up to 100 mil, it could even be, on a striker when you've got someone who could do what you need him to do for this system? Or can he? Again, that's what I'm saying. We've still got some more games to go to make this judgment, and it might be too early of me to say, oh, Havertz is the guy. But I just think having Havertz, Trossard and Jesus as the 9 options, I think that's a pretty decent trio to rotate. And then you bring in 1, maybe 2 wingers. I think you need backup for Saka for sure. I don't think that'll be Pedro Neto. I know a lot of people wanted Pedro Neto. I was one of those. But I was always wary with the injuries, and shock, he's gone and had another injury. So I think Pedro Neto will be off the charts. There's Nico Williams, and there could be whoever else. But I do think we need another left winger. I love Martinelli, but I do think this season he's struggling with the low blocks, and his decision making in the final third has lacked, and that's okay. He's still young, and Martinelli is one of Arsenal's most direct players. He's definitely an asset to have. I'm not saying get rid of him or anything, but I think maybe if there's another left winger out there who can bring you 10 to 15 goals, as well as what we've already got in the team, I think that could be enough. I think that could be enough. And maybe another attacking 8, maybe like a Xavi Simons or someone. And I think that could do what you need a striker to do until a guaranteed bagsman becomes available. Someone who you know, when they step in, they're going to take Arsenal to the next level. Because right now, I think Oshiman's good. I think Gyökeres is impressive. But they're not screaming, yes, spend this sort of money on me. They're just not. And I could be wrong. And if they come in, I'll back them 100%. But I'm just not confident in that, if I'm being honest. So look, I'll leave it to you lot in the comments. I'm pretty certain there'll be a lot of no, we need a striker. So my question would be who? Who would be your ideal choice? And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.